County Council. I was previously on the council for 6 years, the last 2 of which I was the president. Previously, I helped make a difference, and I'm confident I would do so again. I am fiscally conservative, and the last time I was able to help reduce the council's budget by 10% while protecting emergency services. I'm Bill Stubblefield, and I ask your support as an independent candidate when you vote for the Berkeley County Council.
Paid for by candidate.
Remember that last trip to the auto mechanic?
I also think your solenoid gasket is bad.
What?
Yep, that'll be another $500.
Forget that and go to D&N Auto Specialist at 230 Tavern Road, Martinsburg, where honesty is their best policy. Serving the Eastern Panhandle since 1974, D&N Auto is family-owned and operated, specializing in exhaust alignments and tires. From general maintenance to major overhauls, they'll treat you right. Call D&N Auto Specialist at 304-267-4078.
I'm John Schriffen with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. It's been over 280 days since the injury, but Philly fans, it's now official. Carson Wentz is back. Announced as the starter for Sunday's game against the Colts. Wentz back at practice Wednesday, running the first-team offense. Aaron Rodgers performed well on Sunday against the Vikings, but the Packers quarterback is worried about potentially aggravating a knee sprain that remains in a somewhat precarious state. Rodgers says his knee still isn't 100%, and he's making adjustments to mitigate the risk of further injury. There's a chance number 12 could see little practice time in the days ahead as the team runs the ultra-safe route. Josh Gordon on the practice field in New England on Wednesday for the first time as a Patriot, wearing number 10 because his old number 12 isn't available. He was listed as a limited participant due to a hamstring injury. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too.
The national debt is now over $20 trillion. What happens next? Rising inflation drops in the dollar's value. Some experts say another crash is coming. You can fight this, not with stocks or bonds, but with gold and silver coins in an IRA from Augusta Precious Metals. Call 855-858-5807 and learn how an IRA backed by physical gold and silver can hedge against inflation. Call Augusta Precious Metals right now at 855-858-5807 and get a free gold IRA guide. Call 855-858-5807.
Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com.
It's Martinsburg Bulldog football.
Cello Tennerball at the goal line makes the catch. It's a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown.
Join us Friday, September 21st as the Martinsburg Bulldogs travel to Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania to take on the Academy Park Knights. You can not only hear the game on FM 106.5 and AM 740, but now watch the games on TV 10. In Berkeley and Jefferson County, Comcast Cable Channel 10 is now your exclusive home to watch Martinsburg Bulldog football. On your local leader in talk, news, sports, talk radio, WRNR and TV 10.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time on this Thursday night. With you until 7 o'clock tonight, then a little NBC Sports Radio until the 8 o'clock hour when it's Thursday Night Football, as we already talked about, the Jets and the Browns. Wake up, Matt. Wake up.
I'm sorry,
Time to
what?
talk high school football.
More exciting than the Thursday Night NFL game tonight?
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah, let's start with the game that we'll be carrying right here on the airwaves as well as on the television, TV 10, on your cable.
Were you searching for the word television right there?
No, I wanted to make sure I did the TV 10, and so it's on the Comcast cable network in Berkeley and Jefferson counties, and we'll have the video as well as the audio of the game there, plus, as always, the audio at our AM and FM AM 740, FM 106.5. Online, Talk Radio, WRNR.com, and the WRNR Talk Radio app. So you can also catch the game on WRNR TV on YouTube. Now, you will miss a couple of in-house segments there as everything gets distributed the way that it does. There are a couple of segments from back here that won't make it onto the YouTube channel, but nonetheless can still catch the audio and video there that you'll want as far as the game itself.
Not being able to listen or watch the game is no longer an option in the Eastern Panhandle.
If you want to follow, you can follow. And we hope to be doing this same thing next Thursday for the Hedgesville Eagles. They're playing
to Preston.
Day game on a Thursday afternoon as part of the Buckwheat Pancake Festival.
Oh, boy.
So we'll get a few buckwheat pancakes at the end.
Never had one. I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to say, I'm looking forward to it as well.
All right, let's hear from the big man.
Big man?
Big man at Martinsburg.
Head coach David Walker.
Want to do it?
Let's do it. He caught up with us earlier today, or vice versa. Maybe we caught up with him. Talked a little bit first about the win last week against Spring Mills, then led into this week's game.
I thought we played well. I thought we played well up front on both sides of the ball. Defensively, did a great job. Offensively, we had some big plays. Thought both quarterbacks did a good job. Dwayne had a good game. It was just a good team effort.
Through the first 4 weeks, you played some teams that you're at least familiar with in recent years, if not even for the last number of years. This week, a brand new opponent. Do you look forward to a challenge like this?
Yeah, I do, and I'm excited for us to get on the road, go into a different arena, and see how our kids respond.
Is this the type of game that hopefully kind of brings this team together going on a road trip this far away?
Well, they better stay together because it's going to be a big challenge, and we're excited for it. So I think we're going to be a better team either way, whatever happens tomorrow night.
What is the itinerary as you make a trip just outside of Philadelphia?
We're going to leave at noon, and we'll stop somewhere halfway and grab a bite to eat. Get there, and then once we get there, it's just a normal routine. Get dressed and prepare for the game. I don't think it's any big issue really traveling. I think you just have to plan a little bit. But the 3 hours before the game or so, or 4 hours before the game, the kids are right there with us. They're sitting behind us and they're resting. And I think it's a good opportunity and a good experience for our kids.
When you get into a little bit of a different atmosphere, not only with the crowd and that sort of thing, but it'll be a grass field, it looks like, as opposed to a turf field that you've played on each of these first 4 weeks. Does that change things at all?
Not really. Both teams play on it. Obviously we don't practice on turf or on grass, so we're not on it much. But I think once the game gets going, I think it's all the same.
Doesn't slow you down a little? You often hear that, I guess, even depending on the thickness of the grass and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it does slow you down a little, but I think it slows both teams down a little. So obviously the weather and the field conditions are an issue, but if it's dry, that's as long as it's dry, I think I don't think it really matters that much.
What is it that you see in Academy Park? What is it these Knights will throw at you?
Well, they have a lot of athletes. They're very similar to us. They play hard. They have really good special teams. Their special teams are good, and they look to be well coached. I think they've got a couple, 2 or 3 kids that are exceptional players, and I think it's going to be a big challenge for us. And hopefully our guys aren't overlooking them, or hopefully they show up ready to play.
You've played some pretty athletic teams through the first 4 weeks of the season, mobile quarterbacks, good throwing quarterbacks, good receivers, and so forth. Do those challenges help you to be better prepared for this one?
I think we'll be used to the speed. I don't think the speed's so much an issue, but I think the difference between these guys and, say, Woodson and Eastern, I think these guys are a little better coached. They seem to be. They seem to be more organized. They're really good on special teams, which if I see a team that's really good on special teams, that tells me that they're pretty well, instructing on what to do. So, that can be a big challenge.
Coach, we wish you well. Safe travels. We'll see you there.
All right, thank you.
There we hear from Martinsburg head coach David Walker as the Bulldogs get ready to travel to Academy Park, Pennsylvania, really Sharon Hills, Pennsylvania. Academy Park is the high school. Interesting to hear him talk about as they look at the film and prepare for this game. While we hear from Jason Voshesky, head coach of Academy Park, that they're very similar in what they do offensively, the Martinsburg coaching staff looks at them as more of a run-oriented team. While they'll line up in that spread, what they're really doing is spreading you out for the opportunity to create running lanes and give their line opportunities to basically get in the way of someone and allow the running back to make the move. So this sounds to me like the type of game that if Academy Park can get things going, could be a shortened game, not a ton of possessions.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. It doesn't always have to be a 4-hour shootout between each team. And you look at last week's game for Martinsburg against Spring Mills. Spring Mills didn't run the ball till the second quarter. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to spread some guys out and pound the football a little bit.
And when you say didn't run the ball, they didn't hand it off on a run.
Yes.
Clearly their quarterback ran a few times.
But there was no planned run play to a running back until the second quarter.
I don't think that's going to be the case tomorrow night. What I'm saying by that, though, is just it makes each possession all that much more important. We saw that last year, really, when Martinsburg and Sharando got together. So, this may be a similar type of game both this week and next week for these Bulldogs.
It does, and that shows that they're confident in their offensive line and confident in what they can do running the ball. When you see a team that is going to pass 75% of the time, sometimes, okay, maybe they have a dominant wide receiver or something like that. But a lot of times that's just because they don't have the offensive line to get a good push and run the football. And you see a team that runs the ball 60, 75% of the time like this Academy Park team looks like they do. That means they're confident in what they do, and they are usually pretty successful lining up and going right at you.
Martinsburg, very balanced in what they're doing offensively. If they can run it, they will. If they need to throw it, they'll do that as well. Should make for a good game tomorrow night. We'll have more on that game and other EPAC matchups next on Miller Time.
CBS News update. Authorities do not have a motive for the deadly shooting at a Rite Aid warehouse in Aberdeen, Maryland. 6 people were shot, 3 fatally, before the woman suspect shot herself. Governor Larry Hogan.
My prayers are with the victims and the people that were injured and their families.
The suspect has been identified as 26-year-old Snoshia Mosley, a Baltimore resident. Officials are confident that she acted alone. WJZ-TV's Rick Ritter.
The sheriff said she was a temporary employee at this Rite Aid distribution center. She showed up with a 9mm Glock, he said, and that shooting started outside and then worked its way inside the warehouse, where a total of 7 people were shot, including the female suspect, who they said fired a bullet in her head, and then she later died at the hospital.
This shooting comes 3 months after a gunman killed 5 employees of the Capital Gazette newspaper in Annapolis. CBS News update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Overnight, we're seeing clouds increasing, temperatures dropping back to the middle 60s by first thing tomorrow morning. It's a cloudy Friday around the eastern panhandle with a couple of showers possible in the afternoon. Still warm with a high of 82. The cool front comes through, though, tomorrow night into Saturday. Temperatures drop to a high of 75 Saturday with partial sun. Even cooler upper 60s Sunday. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio, WRNR.
Burke, Schultz, Harmon, and Jenkinson, where accident, injury, and disability lawyers with over 120 years combined local trial experience. When injury or illness has stopped you from working, you may be eligible for Social Security disability. Ron Harmon has been winning disability claims for over a quarter of a century. Don't hire some out-of-state firm. Ron Harmon's in Martinsburg. He will meet with you right here in our office. Get a local lawyer you can trust. Call 304-LAWYERS for a free consultation. 304-LAWYERS or 304-263-0900.
WVU Medicine is pleased to announce the addition of orthopedic surgeon Dr. Craig Clark to the Jefferson Medical Center staff and WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Clark joins Dr. Bradford Wright and the team at WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, offering leading-edge, full-service orthopedic care. Both board-certified orthopedic surgeons specialize in total joint replacements and general orthopedics, as well as sports medicine. For more info, call WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine at 304-725-2663.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
And away we go. Antonio Brown was back at practice for the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and he was a little bit angry, saying he is annoyed that the team, as he says, sucks. Second consecutive day, Marcus Mariota practiced for the Titans, so that's some good news. Tonight, you got Thursday night football, a little bit after 8 o'clock Eastern, Jets and the Browns in Cleveland. Dalvin Cook, no practice today. Rob Gronkowski was limited. Looks like an ankle issue for him. Cole Beasley for the Dallas Cowboys, also limited session. He's dealing with an ankle issue and officially placed on the injury report. 8 games in total tonight. Some of your headliners: Red Sox at the Yankees, 7:05 Eastern. Boston looking to clinch, 7:05 Eastern. Mets at Nationals. Max Scherzer looking for win number 18. And at 7:30, it's the Phillies and the Braves. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
It's Ram Truck Month at Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Martinsburg, and that means great deals all over the lot, like 2018 Ram trucks with up to $12,500 off. Stop by and inquire about the no money down specials and no payments for 90 days. Yet other great deals like 2019 Dodge Grand Caravans from $26,900 or a 2019 Chrysler Pacifica for 0% APR plus $500 Chrysler Capital Cash. With over 300 trucks, SUVs, vans, and cars in stock, you'll find just what you're looking for during Ram Truck Month at Miller's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Kelly Island Road, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. All payments based on approved credit, taxes, tags, and processing fees extra. See dealer for details. Welcome back into this Thursday edition of Miller Time, taking you up to 7 o'clock tonight as we talk a lot of high school football, previewing the Eastern Panhandle Athletic Conference matchups for this Friday night. We started talking Martinsburg and Academy Park, and we'll make a switch in just a moment. But before we do, we have to get to our standard 5:35 segment.
You mean taking a look at yesterday in history?
Not yesterday.
Oh, so today.
No need for today.
Looking at tomorrow in sports history. Cue the music.
This is kind of like our Back to the Future segment.
It is. We're going back to the future.
Yeah, there you go.
Taking a look at September 21st in sports history. 1969, New York Jet punter Steve O'Neill punts a ball 98 yards against the Denver Broncos. I'm assuming that included a few favorable bounces.
It had to.
Nobody can kick a ball 98 yards in the air. Or can kick a football. There are people who can kick a soccer ball past that, but kicking a football 98 yards would have to involve some favorable bounces.
I bet you it went about 60 or 70, though.
Yeah.
Easy to then
and just
get
hit
that type
right
of bounce.
Perfectly on the tip of the football enough to just make it bounce.
I shall look that one up. We can watch it at the top of the hour.
Still impressive. 1971, Matt, this was a big day in your life of sports. 1971 on September 21st, the AL OKs the move for the Washington Senators to become the Texas Rangers.
I was 4 young years old at the time and didn't even know that I would eventually fall in love with that franchise.
But you did.
I have, yep. I've been a Texas Rangers fan since I was little.
1980, Richard Todd of the New York Jets completes 42 passes in a game.
That's nothing now. Yeah. Nowadays, you're like, really? Seriously?
1981, Steve Carlton strikes out a then NL record 3,118th batter. And it was somebody from my Cubbies. It was the Hawk, Andre Dawson.
Sorry about that, man.
1982. A couple of things happened in 1982 on September 21st. Starting in baseball, only 2,251 people came out to the Expos, played the New York Mets at Shea Stadium.
One of the reasons why they're no longer in Montreal.
Yeah. No, it's at Shea Stadium.
Oh, so Shea Stadium.
Shea, yeah. So it was in New York.
One of the reasons maybe Shea Stadium was torn down, right? Let's build a city field and maybe they'll come.
And in 1982, on tomorrow's date in sports history, the 57-day NFL player strike began. The Redskins would go on to win the Super Bowl that year. One of the fun facts about the Redskins is 2 of their 3 Super Bowls involved shortened seasons because of the NFL strike. Cowboys fans like to point that out.
Is that the scab season?
No, the scab season was the 86, 87 season.
I couldn't remember which year that was.
Speaking of 86, 2 events from the same game. The New York Jets beat the Miami Dolphins 51-45 in overtime, a record 884 passing yards in that game. Dan Marino passed for 6 touchdowns in that game. Not too shabby.
That's 2 times now you've mentioned the Jets. They're playing tonight. Is this an omen of good things to come maybe for the Jets tonight against the Browns?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they're tapping into their past.
And one more for you. 1991 on September 21st in sports history, the NBA announces not the NBA, USA Basketball announces the dream team for the 1992 Olympics.
That was a dream team.
Yeah.
They dominated.
USA Basketball always dominates. Doesn't have to be the dream team. It's amazing how far above everybody else USA Basketball is. When you look at soccer, when you look at baseball, there are other definitely in soccer because the U.S. isn't even making the World Cup. But even when you look at baseball, American football is up there, but really nobody else plays American football. It's been attempted in other countries, but it hasn't really stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But it is truly amazing how far above everybody else USA Basketball is. Compared to, for how many other countries play the game of basketball, I think it's remarkable how far above the competition the United States is.
I guess in the U.S., it's one of the easiest games to go play, right? I mean,
no, you need a court and a basketball. You don't need equipment.
One basketball, a basket.
And there's basketball courts everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you only have one basket, you play half court. You only need a full-size court.
If you're one player, then you go out and you shoot, I remember many times being on the court, doing my own play-by-play and making up the game as I was going as the Celtics and the Lakers were battling back and forth.
You don't do that now, do you? Actually call the game in front of you?
What's that? No, I still go out and sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. I don't pretend anymore. I missed too many shots, too many fouls, and he was fouled.
It's amazing how hard the fouls are when you're playing no one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. There's always a foul and a missed shot.
Most missed shots. Occasionally, depending on which team I wanted to win that given day, I would have them miss a shot and there wouldn't be a foul. We'd go it's kind of like the real NBA. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just had to go there. Speaking of, where are we going? Which game do you want to go to next?
Hold off on that for a minute.
Uh-oh, you got something else to tell me.
We gotta. This is our half segment anyway because of our Tomorrow's Date in Sports History segment. If you've listened throughout this week or tuned into our morning show at all and listening to the Miller Time commentaries with Rob Mario in the morning, you've heard us talking about the extremely low attendance figures at FedEx Field for the Washington Redskins. 21,000 people lower than last year's home opener and 19,000 lower than the next lowest. 57,000 people showed up to FedEx Field to watch the Redskins take on the Colts in the 2018 home opener last Sunday.
There were more at how many college football games on Saturday than that?
Tons.
Tons, yes.
Here might be a reason why. A list of the 10 highest, how do I want to put this? The 10 most expensive, not high, most expensive sporting event or sporting venues to go to in the NFL. The Redskins came in on that list at number 2. Here are some figures for you. This is one person going to FedEx Field to watch the Washington Redskins. They break it down into 5 different areas in which you can spend money. And obviously there's more ways to spend money, but these are just, I guess they figured the most likely you're going to spend money. The first one is the average ticket price. The average ticket price at FedEx Field is $119. So that's already expensive enough as it is. You can't spend, obviously there are people out there that can spend that much money all the time, but that's extremely high for a ticket price. Price for a beer is $9. Price for a soda is $5. A hot dog is $6. You can buy a pack of hot dogs for like $3.50. And parking averages out at $57.50. For a total cost to go to FedEx Field, the average fan is spending $336.54. Only one stadium in the NFL are you spending more than that, and that is at Soldier Field in Chicago, where Bears fans are spending on average $351.30. That's a lot of money for one person. So
Right.
say you want to take your son to a football game, you're spending $672 to go to a football game for you and your son or you and your buddy. That's on average.
Well, now let me throw this out there because I'm tallying this up as you were talking. I said, let's make this a family of 4. So the tickets, the beer, the hot dog,
because your kid's got to get a beer too. Just kidding.
Just figured maybe the adult would have more than one. I don't know. And then the hot dog. So maybe you take, let's go 2. So let's go 2 beers. So let's make that only $18. And then 2 sodas. So let's make that then $10. So we'll bring the price down by $28. So your parking fee is still going to be the same whether you're one person or not, right? So you're paying
as long as it's one car, that's all you're paying.
That's it. So if we tally everything up, take the $613.50 by multiplying everything except the parking fee by 4, subtract the $18 that you save by getting 2 sodas instead of 2 beers, and you're talking $595.50 for your family of 4 to go see a game at FedEx Field. And that doesn't include, especially for someone in our neck of the woods, getting there.
Yeah, you're taking at least an hour and a half to get there. So sitting in traffic, you're burning at least half to 3/4 of a tank of gas
by the time you get there and turn around.
So there's another $40 to $60 depending on the vehicle you drive.
All right, so let's add that up. Let's go plus that amount of money, plus 40. We'll just say. And then you're probably still going to have to eat somewhere along the way because if you're going to a Skins game, you're going to get there early. And by the time you get out of there, you're talking about what you'd leave
It's
here
an all-day affair.
9 o'clock in the morning and get home at 9 o'clock at night?
Yep.
So a family of 4 going out to your standard fast food restaurant is
going to McDonald's.
Probably
you're looking
spend another 25 to 30.
Yep.
So add that to the cost. We'll just go 25, and you're now up $660.50.
Makes it hard to justify going to a football game.
Absolutely.
And you would think with how bad the Redskins have been in recent years, they wouldn't be number 2 on that list. And to be quite honest, with the traffic going in and out of FedEx Field and the overall fan experience, it ain't worth the number 2 spot on this list. I think we had season tickets for 14 years, 15 years. I liked going to the game because I loved seeing the Redskins play in person and loved doing it as a family. It was a family thing we did on Sundays. Mm-hmm. The game day experience ain't all that.
When you say that, what's missing? What is it that too many fans from other teams?
Honestly, it's the stadium itself doesn't hold sound in very well. So there's really, it gets loud, but I've been at stadium. Going to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore for a couple of Maryland Navy games. The noise in that stadium was a lot louder. So the acoustics in FedEx, awful. The opposing fans that are there, which you're in D.C., it's a melting pot anyway, and you're around other cities in driving distance where they have a dedicated fan base. There's too many seats packed in. It's the traffic going in and out. It's not after a loss, you don't go, okay, well, at least we had a good day. It was, all right, we just wasted our whole day doing that, spending. Luckily, I grew up only about 40 minutes from the stadium, but driving back up to Shepherd, when I went to Shepherd or back up here, it was, okay, let me get in my vehicle and just go sit on the Beltway in 270. And it takes 2 hours to or more to get back up to the Eastern Panhandle. So it's just not a phenomenal game day experience. They're trying to work on it, but I don't think until they get a new stadium, which I think is part of the reason you hear year after year that Dan Snyder's searching for a new stadium, trying to get a new stadium put, even though the stadium was built in the first year of 1997. It's not an old stadium.
It's not old.
But Jack and Cook just flat out built it for seats, not for the game day experience, because he was used to RFK and figured more fans you can fit in seats, more money. So it's just not a phenomenal game day experience. But when the Redskins win, it's fun just because you're there to watch the Reds, and everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah, you got the band playing Hail to the Redskins and all of those things.
So it's not, when they win, it's not awful, but when they lose, it just kind of adds on to everything.
So do you have the entire top 10 list in front of you?
Funny you say that. I was just about to go there. Starting at number 10, the Philadelphia Eagles Lincoln Financial Field, average cost per person, $268. Or not per person. I shouldn't say per person. For one person, the average will be $268. The New York Jets at MetLife Stadium, $274. The Broncos at Sports Authority Field in Denver, $290. M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, you're just over $300 at $303.22. MetLife Stadium for the Giants is $304. That's kind of funny. The average ticket for a Jet game is $110. The average ticket for a Giant game is $123. So the ownership for the Giants wants to jack the prices up a little bit more.
Well, they've had more success.
Yeah, they have.
So maybe you can do that.
Better winning tradition with the Giants and the Jets. Levi Stadium, the new stadium out in San Francisco, you're looking to spend a flat $331. New England at Gillette Stadium, they can afford to do, because when you're putting that good of a product on the field, you can charge whatever you want to. $331.96. The Dallas Cowboys come in at number 3 with Jerry World at $333.40. And then number 1 was Soldier Field. Number 2 was FedEx. So there's your top 10. So all 4 NFC East teams are in the top 10 list of most expensive places to go watch a game. So if you're an NFC East football fan and you want to travel, you're not going to get any cheaper of a ticket if you're going to a division game.
Yeah, well, and there you go. Let's add that aspect to it. If you are a fan who has the money and the time and you want to travel and follow your team, add those prices up for what it costs to be at home. Now, let's go up to New York and see the Giants.
Well, if you have the money to travel and see your team, I don't think the money for the home games is going to bother you all that much.
No, but I tell you that the NFL is crushing the average fan. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt it's a $14 billion a year industry, and we want to charge you that kind of money to come see the game, just to park to see the game. Oh, and you better help us build a new stadium because we can't afford to do it ourselves. Really?
And they can get away with it because they shouldn't be able to get away with it. But the big argument's always been, well, you look at a baseball ticket and you get a baseball ticket for cheap. Okay, there's 162 baseball games. You're looking at 81 home games. Football can get away. You look at hockey, the NBA, you're still at 40-some home games.
Mm-hmm.
Football, you get 8 regular season home games. We got to make up an entire year worth of money in those 8 home games. So that's where that high price comes from. It's still extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason for it to be that high other than the fact they have to pay the players the obscene amount of money that NFL players make.
Yeah, but that comes out of TV, which we all pay anyway in the advertising fees and those elements of, ESPNs and CBSs and Foxes. Well, where are they getting their money from? Advertisers, or the advertisers, where are they getting their money from? The common citizen who has to pay the fee for whatever the product is that ends up on the air. So,
that's how the NFL gets to. That's their excuse. Oh, there's only eight home games for the regular season. So,
all right.
I just thought that was interesting. We talked about the extremely down numbers for the Redskins. No season ticket waiting list officially for the first time in a very long time in D.C. So you want to know one of the reasons to go along with the very poor execution on the field. Look at the fact that you're spending for one person on average to get one ticket and a couple of adult beverages, a soda, a hot dog, and to park. Looking at $336 and upwards of $600 if you're going to take your family of 4.
So $336 times, what was it, 53,000, 57,000 at the opener?
57,200, I believe.
All right. That's $19,152,000.
So Dan Snyder he didn't make that because he's got to pay.
No, but multiply that times 8 games, and you're talking $153,216,000.
And you're going to get more for the Cowboys game, the Eagles game. I mean, the Colts aren't bringing in that big of a wide fan base.
Well, but you're going to get more not only in possible fan base, but more because you're charging more.
Yeah.
You're aware of that.
The Cowboy game, the season ticket price is double for that game. $80 sit in the upper deck, usually for an upper deck season ticket, $80 per ticket. The Dallas Cowboy-Washington Redskin game at FedEx Field this year, $160 per ticket. It's insane.
Yeah, very much. Which is why we watch it on television or listen on the radio or don't pay a whole lot of attention right now.
Hey, you're starting to pay attention to your Bucks.
A little bit.
As long as Fitzpatrick stays in at quarterback, you'll be a lot happier.
You and I are going to be together to watch the Steelers and the Bucks for Monday Night Football.
See if Fitzmagic can continue through Week 3.
We'll see if I get drawn back in at that moment in time.
All right, we got to take a break.
Let's do it.
We'll be back with more Miller Time after this.
If you're a victim in a motor vehicle wreck or injured due to another person's fault, at Ferretti Law Office, we get to work protecting your rights and getting you the money you need and deserve. The insurance companies handling your claims want a fast and cheap settlement. Before making that mistake, call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to discuss your claim for free. You did not choose to be injured, but your choice of law firms can make a difference. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
Do you hear that? Nothing beats the sound of summer unless it's finding a way to make cleaning your pool easier. Now you can with Pool Life. Our complete line of premium pool care products is the easiest solution under the sun for crystal clear, clean pool fun. Get the most brilliant clean ever seen all summer long with Pool Life. Only at fine pool dealers like John's Pool Supplies, close to Gold's Gym on Eagle School Road in Martinsburg. Ask about quality PDC hot tubs. Phone 267-2000 or go online at johnspoolsupplies.com.
Hello, this is Joe Manchin, and growing up in my hometown of Farmington taught me that people matter more than anything else. I've never cared what political party anyone belongs to, as long as they'll work with me to help West Virginia. I've been meeting with clergy and faith leaders all over West Virginia to talk about health care for people with pre-existing conditions. Patrick Morrissey's lawsuit would take away these protections. 800,000 West Virginians have a pre-existing condition, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, and cancer. Losing health care would be devastating for so many of our people. Patrick Morrissey is dead wrong, and he just doesn't know West Virginia. As West Virginians, we look after one another. That's why I'm also fighting for a strong military, for secured borders, keeping our promises to our veterans and minors, and to protect Social Security and Medicare for our seniors. I'm Joe Manchin, candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Who should you call when it comes to your real estate legal needs?
This is Chris Luttrell, local real estate attorney with offices in Martinsburg and Charlestown. Let's be direct. Buying or selling your home is a matter not to be taken lightly. At my firm, Luttrell LC, we possess the experience and knowledge to represent you and ensure your most important investment is protected. Give us a call at 304-267-3050, 304-267-3050, because at Luttrell LC, your home is our business.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection that fits your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and personalizing protection to meet them. From bundling your auto, home, and life insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage based on your protection needs, your Allstate agent can build an insurance proposal that fits your life. Are you in good hands? Contact Martinsburg Allstate agent Gary Kelly today for a free quote at 304-263-4596. Life insurance offered through Allstate Life Insurance Company and Allstate Assurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois, and American Heritage Life Insurance Company, Jacksonville, Florida.
We welcome you back in to Miller Time, the Village People.
I love seeing the look on your face when I put random songs up like that.
Well, see that?
I'm not an avid Village People fan. When I put a random song that I'm scrolling through and I go, all right, I want to see Matt's face when I do this, and putting up the Village People and having you go, why is he playing the Village People?
I used that one morning when Rob was out, and I filled in for him along with, David Welch being in for Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and Dave, and I see the title, and it's Macho Man, right? And I'm thinking, oh, okay, I know the theme or the chorus to that song, and that would be probably something fun to come back with, and then you hit it, and of course, it's the very beginning of the song, not the chorus, and you get All About My Body, and it's just like...
And then it's you and another dude sitting in here going,
not quite the music that I intended to use.
Welcome back into the Talk Radio WRNR studios.
Yes, do I feel awkward right now? That's the thing. So sometimes the music selection fits, and sometimes not so much.
We were going to play a coach's interview, but quite frankly, we talk too much.
I can't imagine you and I talking too much.
I can't either. People should see us during the day. We never shut up.
So that means in the next hour, because we'll be here till 7, we'll be hearing from 5 additional coaches. Hedgesville, Musselman, Spring Mills, Jefferson, Washington, and previewing their matchups as we look forward to a Friday night of high school football.
And there are some good matchups in here.
I think there are.
No EPAC on EPAC games this week, but there are some good out-of-league, I guess out-of-conference matchups around the Panhandle this weekend.
Yep, some teams that might be tested a little bit, and every win counts in this rating system in the state of West Virginia. So more on that coming up. You're listening to Miller Time on Talk Radio, WRNR Martinsburg. It's 6 o'clock.
Now your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. On Monday, a lawsuit was filed over the Rockwool facility in Ranson. On Tuesday, a judge ruled against that suit, and yesterday, Governor Jim Justice reiterated his support for the Rockwool project. The group Jefferson County Vision was going after Jefferson County's Development Authority, saying they'd violated both state law and ethical guidelines by conducting their incentive efforts away from public scrutiny. The judge disagreed with that. The West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection said the Rockwool plant doesn't threaten people's health or the environment, a statement the governor backed up. On Tuesday, Governor Justice appointed John Myers to be the director of the West Virginia Lottery. Myers has been serving as Secretary of Administration for the Justice Administration. Prior to that, he worked at the lottery from 2008 until 2017 and was acting director of the lottery from 2015 to 2017. Before his public service career, Myers was the manager of corporate administration for Toyota in Buffalo, West Virginia. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Local forecast. Weatherman Bob Kukin.
Dry and pleasant weather this evening across Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan counties as temperatures drop through the 70s. Partly cloudy this evening, but the clouds do build in overnight. Look for a morning low near 65. Tomorrow, it's a mostly cloudy day. A couple of showers possible in the afternoon, but not a lot of rainfall. And a high temperature right around 82. Turning cooler for the weekend. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
West Virginia high school football featuring the Martinsburg Bulldogs.
Getting a couple of nice blocks from his wide receivers, gets to the far sideline, stays in bounds, down the sideline to the 20, slips through a diving tackle at the 15 and goes into the end zone for the Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown.
The Martinsburg Bulldogs will travel to Sharon Hills, Pennsylvania to face the Academy Park Knights on Friday night at 7. Our pregame at 6 with Miller Time at 5 p.m. on Talk Radio WRNR, your local leader in talk, news, sports.
Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. An epic journey awaits you. Help your favorite Disney friends follow the clues that will take you on an extraordinary adventure where you might just find the magic begins with you. At Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party.
Opening night tickets $15. Restrictions and additional charges may apply. Playing at Eagle Bank Arena October 3rd through 7th.
Do you use catheters? At Comfort Medical, we understand your needs. Nobody wants to use a catheter, but because you have to, let us help you make it an easy and virtually pain-free process. At Comfort, we've been a leader in home delivery of medical supplies for years. You know us, and you can trust us. We have hundreds of catheter styles to choose from, and if you're covered by Medicare or private insurance, you can get up to 200 catheters per month at little or no cost to you. We have catheter specialists standing by right now to help you select the best catheter for your unique needs. Call now and speak with a friendly catheter specialist. 800-399-6835. 800-399-6835. Remember, with Medicare or private insurance, you can get up to 200 catheters a month at little or no cost to you. So call right now. 800-399-6835. 800-399-6835. 800-399-6835. That's 800-399-6835.
And we welcome you back in to hour number 2 of Miller Time. Matt Miller with you, along with Matt Crawford, talking some high school football, some NFL football, some other odds and ends as well on this day after International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Wow. You still Had to bring that. Only 364 more days, man. You can do it.
I know. I'm hanging in there.
You can do it.
I'm getting through.
We'll get through this
day. I got to work up a new joke for
Did
next
you enjoy
year.
that yesterday?
I had fun with it.
Good. I'm
had
glad.
fun. There was one nice segment. I mean, I don't think we overkilled it in any way. You know,
you can only do that so much that it's getting annoying.
And or without your throat getting all scratchy and you're like, man, I can't talk like that. Which is
then you're really going to be starting to talk like a pirate.
Probably why the Pirates didn't actually talk like that, as you so, how do I say it, boisterously pointed out yesterday. You were so... Before we ever got on the show and on the show, you made sure that Pirates don't talk like that.
I was just informing you and giving you knowledge. I was imparting my young wisdom on your elder self.
I was going to say that is what this show is all about, but not that, but us at least trying to impart some kind of sports wisdom and knowledge on people, which is dangerous to think. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's just move on, right? Let's take a look at another key matchup, high school football, Eastern Panhandle Athletic Conference style. The Musselman Applemen were on a bye last week, which actually proved to be pretty good with the threat of Hurricane Florence and games being shifted from Friday night to Thursday night. It was something they did not have to worry about. But now, after that time off, they've got to worry about, what do they say, maybe getting back on the horse again. Can they keep the momentum going that was there through 3 wins to open the season? We caught up with head coach Brian Thomas and asked him about the bye and now getting back to action.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer. Sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't like it. I mean, a bad part about it is you build up momentum. With us being 3-0, and then you kind of sit back and don't play a game. I hope we don't lose that momentum. But at the same time, the positive is you get to rest and you get to heal. Some of the little bumps and bruises. We actually had a couple injured in our last game that have got to rest up a little bit. So that's the positive part of it.
I know you said you're indifferent right now whether the bye week was beneficial, but did you like the location of the bye week at least? You're only 3 weeks in going into that 4th week rather than deeper into the season?
Yeah, I do like that. I like it. Really, when you think about it, a lot of people think halfway through the season is 5 games in. But, when you count 2-a-days and you count August, we're almost at the halfway point now if you count in those August practices as well. So I really like it right now because I think it kind of, lets you rest up and it lets you heal and kind of gets us ready for this home stretch.
You certainly have some momentum going into this matchup against Princeton this week. 3-0 start to the season. Before we talk about your offense that has really been putting up the points, tell us how well you've played defensively, giving up just 28 points through 3 games.
Yeah, our defense has been great. We're running a new defense this year. We got a new defensive coordinator, Wes Smith, this year. Wes is doing a great job with the kids, teaching the scheme. The kids really buy in to what he's doing, and they have a great relationship with him, and they play hard for him. Those kids, it's a unique mix on defense, really, because we have some veteran linebackers, and then our secondary is really, really young. But the kids, they study, they watch film, they work really hard. I think you're really seeing it pay off on the defensive side of the ball.
Let's talk about your offense. What is making them click so far through 3 games?
Offensively, we're balanced. We're really balanced this year, and I say that because it's funny because, Spring Mills, we only threw the ball, I think, 4 times. The next week against Hampshire, we came out, and we only played a half, but we threw it, 20 times in a half. And then Jefferson, we came out. We weren't really able to throw the ball because of the conditions, but, we have a really well-balanced offense. We have some good receiving threats. We have some really good kids carrying the ball. I think, I think there's 2 things that make us go. I think one thing is our offensive line. I think our offensive line is really big this year. They've been big to our success. We replaced 4 starters from a year ago, and that was kind of a big question mark was, what combination were we going to use and how are they going to gel together? They've done a great job, leading us to victory. And I think the other key is Trey Beard. Trey running quarterback for us. He's a dual threat kid, and he's been making some really good decisions in our option game and when we run the ball, and then in our passing game where he's going with the ball. So Trey's been a big part of our success.
I look back to last year and your matchup against the Princeton Tigers, and you scored a lopsided victory on the road. What do you expect from them as they come to your place Friday night?
Well, they're really improved from last year. Last year we played really, really well there. jumped out to a huge lead early on. And when I watch them on film this year, they're a lot different than they were last year. Last year they were kind of a run-oriented offense. This year they come out, they really want to throw the ball. Defensively, they're really aggressive and they run to the football. They're going to be a team that they're going to come in here and they're going to give us everything that we have. We got to be, as we mentioned earlier, coming off that bye week, we have to be prepared. Mentally more than anything, not so much physically, but just mentally. We have to come out and we have to execute, and we have to be able to, stick to our game plan and do what we do.
Coach Thomas, as always, thank you for your time. Good luck, and we'll talk next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you hear from Brian Thomas, head coach of the Musselman Applemen. They will entertain the Princeton Tigers tomorrow night. Princeton going through a bit of a rough season
They're
so far.
only 0-3.
0-3, I know. But they've had some trouble getting their offense going, and that's not good against a Musselman defense that has been very stout and an offense that is averaging 40 points a game. I mean, they've been getting it done really in all three facets of the game. So make that 4+ hour trip from Princeton, West Virginia to the Panhandle. I think that's going to be a very tough game for the Tigers.
Yeah, Princeton coming off a 37-0 loss at Parkersburg South. So not coming off, and that wasn't even a close loss last week they're coming off of. So Musselman got the win last year, for any who are interested, and they went to Princeton, got the win 52-20. Guessing it's probably going to be around that this year, too.
Well, and as you heard from Coach Thomas, he said they really did play very well down there last year. And so, they'll have to come out and play well to have it, that lopsided. But certainly a good game, I think, for them coming back out of that bye week, to get your feet wet again, jump right in. Because right after that, do you know who the Musselman Applemen have? See, I'm pulling this right out of a hat. You had no idea this question was coming. I can see by the look in your eyes. It's another city in West Virginia that starts with the letter M.
Is it Morgantown?
It is.
Morgantown's not playing that well this year either.
Well,
I know they're always tough.
Yep.
But Morgantown's not playing all that well this year either.
And especially up there. And Musselman will have to travel for that one. So, this...
I think that game's a lot different this year than it would have been the last couple of years.
Right. And this is that quote-unquote trap game. I always hate that terminology, but this is one of those...
But it's a historically good team that's having a little bit of a down year, that's looking for anything to hang their hat on.
But don't get caught this week looking at a Princeton team that hasn't won a game yet and, a team you beat last year pretty solid. Don't take them for granted just so you can look ahead to what will be, probably a pretty good matchup going to Morgantown. So there you go, the Musselman Applemen tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at home. Do we have time to go ahead and hit the Hedgesville game?
We always got time for Joey Urish.
Let's do it. We'll take our break after we preview the Hedgesville matchup. And they are at home as well. They've been home a lot in the early part of the season.
Which means they won't be home a whole lot at the end of the season.
Yeah, in fact, the entire month of October, 4 straight weeks, they will be on the road. That's not easy, especially when one of those games will be at
Coburn Field taking on the Martinsburg Bulldogs.
And the week before that,
they're at Musselman, right?
They're at Musselman tough, very tough back-to-back games, and especially to have those on the road. So that means this is a very big game as they welcome in the James Wood Colonels out of nearby Winchester, Virginia. James Wood, a little bit of a rough start for them, but they're a team that likes to ground and pound, control the clock, and, that could be a test for this Hedgesville defense. So Hedgesville coming off a big win this past weekend.
Back-to-back big wins.
Yeah, 40-plus points and giving up just
42-6 both games, wasn't it?
Was it 42?
I thought we talked about that earlier this week, that both games were 42-6. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
I'm just thinking one may have been 7 as opposed to 6. I will look that up as
42 to a touchdown.
Yeah, that's it. They pounded the two opponents that they faced. So let's get an idea from head coach Joey Urish what he's thinking of how his team is playing coming off that win last week and into this matchup against James Wood.
The guys came out and did what they were supposed to do early on. We got a couple big plays. Once Owie got going with Niger and Hunter down in the end zone on our end. And once we got that going, then it was just guys doing what they normally do.
With that game being on a Thursday, you mentioned to us last week that you were able to give your team off Friday. You think that's a nice little break at this point in the season?
Yeah, absolutely. It allowed us to get that extra day of rest, and a couple guys came in with the trainer and got some treatment and stuff, and thankfully we haven't been banged up too bad, but just having that extra day with her and getting another extra day in the weight room to keep our strength levels where they need to be is beneficial as well.
This coming weekend, you are home again as you host James Wood. Before we get into the Colonels, you've been at home a lot in the early part of the season, which means you're going to be on the road a lot in the latter part of the season. How big are these games right now?
No, we got to win them. I mean, you got home games early on. You're in front of your hometown. You're not going to see these people again for another month. It stinks not having a home game in the whole month of October, but our guys had to do it 2 years ago. They're kind of prepared for it, and thank God this cycle's almost over. We won't have to do it again.
All right, let's take a look at Friday night. What do you see in James Wood?
They're big. They're really, really, really big up front. They got a really good fullback, and they got all their running backs back from last year. They did a really good job defensively. They changed up to a 34 this year. I think we'll see a lot of cover 4 in the secondary, and they like to bring the linebackers every single play.
You mentioned them having a lot of guys back. You've got a good group back as well. Last year's matchup, 28-23. Do you expect the same kind of a matchup?
I don't know. If we do what we're supposed to do, I don't know if they can keep up with us athletically, and I'm hoping and praying to God that the rain holds off. But, yeah, they're going to try to grind the clock. They do a really good job of kind of maintain and control the game, and we have to do our job and get them off the field defensively, and then we have to capitalize on our offensive possession. How well are you playing offensively right now when I look at back-to-back 40-point games, and the lowest you've scored has been 33 points? Our line has been playing extremely well. And, I've said from the beginning that that's where most high school football games are won, is up front. And thankfully, we've got 5 guys that have bought into the system and done what they're supposed to do. And we got a lot of athletes, but we wouldn't be able to do anything that we're doing on the offensive side of the ball without those front 5 guys. At the same time, I look at your defensive numbers, and in 3 out of 4 games, you've given up only 1 score. How well are you playing on that side? No, I think that's the biggest thing that separated us this year so far, is we've been able to stop people on the defensive side of the ball, and our guys are flying around and making some plays for us. And, we've had 7 interceptions called back because of penalties, and I'd hate to see our numbers if we have those. So our guys are playing pretty well right now. The next 2 weeks are huge for us to set the tone up for the game in 3 weeks. Well, Coach, thank you again for your time. Good luck, and we'll talk next week. Thank you, sir. So there you hear from Joey Urish, head coach of the Hedgesville Eagles, on a 2-game winning streak, taking on a James Wood team that is on a 2-game winning streak after dropping their first 2. So they have at least a little bit of momentum coming into this one. We'll see if they can get it done, though I think it's going to be tough for them out at Hedgesville.
Yeah, it is. And Hedgesville's not a bad football team.
No,
they're actually a pretty good football team this year and can run the ball very well this year. They are a very balanced offense, and they have athletes on the defensive side of the football, so it's going to be a tough game for James Wood.
At game time, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll have scoring updates from that one and the Musselman game as well, as we bring you Academy Park hosting Martinsburg right here. Spring Mills back in action tomorrow night. They're on the road heading over to South Hagerstown in Maryland. And then Jefferson and Washington are on the road as well. Not a lot of home football in the Eastern Panhandle this week. We'll preview those games as we continue on Miller Time.
Amanda Linton, the Domestic Violence Project Coordinator for Community Alternatives to Violence, also known as CAV. For over 22 years, we have been intervening in family violence cases referred from a variety of agencies around the Eastern Panhandle and surrounding counties and states. This intervention takes the form of 10 weekly education classes, which teaches strategies for respectful behavior. CAV is dedicated to exposing belief systems and stereotypes, which leads to all types of gender violence, including emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Another key element to CAV is educating the community regarding violence and how it is a learned behavior which can be unlearned with new attitudes and habits. Our office is located at 314 Wilson Street in Martinsburg. For more information, visit www.commav.org or call our office at 304-262-4424. Stay tuned for our next event, a community yard sale on August 25th. CAV is ending violence one home at a time.
Come out and enjoy a morning of motivational life lessons and great food in the Stag Brunch with Rocky Blyer, run by the Mountain State Apple Harvest Festival on Friday morning, October 19th at the Warehouse on 411 Auburn Street in Martinsburg, West Virginia. A meet and greet will take place at 9:30 a.m., followed by brunch at 10 a.m. Hear inspirational stories from Blyer from his time in the NFL and in the Vietnam War, showing how everyone can accomplish great things in life. To purchase tickets in advance, you must be 21 years or older. Tickets are $55 each, which includes brunch and 2 cocktails. For $1,500, you can be an event sponsor, getting you 6 tickets seated with Mr. Blyer, signage at the event, and recognition in the official festival program. Being a table sponsor for $400 includes 8 tickets at a reserved table and signage at the event. To purchase tickets, go to msahf.com or purchase them at Flowers Unlimited. For more information, contact the chair of the festival, Mike Hornby, at mike@aroundthepanhandle.com or call 304-851-7461.
And here he goes. West Virginia football. He's going to go all the way in. Touchdown. Lives here.
And here we go. A home run ball deep downfield. And he makes the catch. Right up the middle he goes. He's on his way. It's a foot race. He's going to score. 15, 10-foot. End zone. Touchdown. West Virginia.
Big 12 play starts at home with Kansas State on Saturday, September 22nd. Only on your home for Mountaineer football.
On Talk Radio WRNR, your local leader in talk, news, sports.
Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and David.
Senator Charlie Trump joins us. Wait a second, I should hit his button there. There you go.
Good morning.
I didn't hit your button and engage you right away.
I'm glad my colleagues in the Senate don't have a button where they can keep me turned off, too.
That'd be something, huh? Put a mute button in?
Yeah.
So who's the first senator you guys would mute when they start to talk?
That's a good question. I have a feeling I know the answer to this. No, I'm frightened it would be me.
Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and David. What did you listen to last week?
Welcome back.
You didn't do it loud enough.
Okay, there you go. You give it again.
Dope.
That was Homer Simpson.
The one and only.
I guess that makes me Bart. As we welcome you back in to Miller Time. Now, Matt Miller along with Matt Crawford, spending some time talking some high school football on this Thursday night, previewing the matchups that will come your way tomorrow. And then tomorrow during Miller Time from 5 to 6, Matt will be handling that solo here in the studio and looking ahead to Saturday and the college games, including the Rams and the Mountaineers. I'm sure he'll sneak a little Maryland in there too. And then he'll be looking ahead to the NFL weekend, where we'll find out if the Redskins are able to bounce back from a very disappointing effort in a loss this past
You should have added one more very onto there.
I'll let you do that tomorrow. And then, of course, the Steelers with a big game. Antonio Brown back, as you may have heard earlier in the first hour sports report.
What this one's going to be.
I'm sure they'll keep it in-house for the most part. So I don't know. It's got to be money. Clearly, you're going to be fined. You did not show up to practice, although supposedly he had reason.
So he just never told anybody.
A reason and or reasons. So, yeah, I don't know how that'll go. But will that make the Steelers that much more fired up, I guess is the word, to get the win, since they are 0-1-1 and you've got all of this attention going on and you're still without Le'Veon Bell? Are they going to be able to use this to, emotionally charge them to have them ready to play a 2-0 Bucs team?
I don't know. The Steelers have not impressed me so far this year. So I don't know if it's just the way the team's going to look this year, or whether they just haven't found the right gear to go yet. Because it's very un-Steeler-like for them to start like this.
Yeah, they certainly didn't have a good offensive effort against the Browns when they had 4 turnovers and ended up scoring only 21 points in that tie. Then in week 2...
awful defensive performance.
Yeah, I was going to say, you score 35 points, you think you're probably going to win the game, but the defense did not play well, and so they end up allowing 42 points. And now you're playing a Buck team that feels pretty confident, because Tampa has reeled off 2 straight victories against 2 opponents most people did not expect them to beat. The Saints, division foe, playoff team from a season ago, and the Philadelphia Eagles, defending Super Bowl champions. So for them to be able to do what they have done, they're certainly going to be riding high. We'll see if playing down with the pirate ship in Tampa helps them.
With the cannon?
I want to go toward the stadium just to see the pirate ship. For once in my life, maybe that's the way I need to term it, I want to go to a game
where it's your home ballpark?
Yes. Because as a fan
you didn't pick two good teams to follow if that's your criteria.
It is challenging.
You picked the team in the center of Texas and the center of Florida. I don't know if you've looked at a map recently, but you're in the panhandle of West Virginia, and there's at least 4 or 5 states separating.
I know. I've been to a couple Wizards games, and they were enjoyable because I was there rooting for the Wizards. That was good. That was fun.
Have you ever been to a Capitals game?
I have not. You and I are going.
We're going this year.
We're going this year.
Yeah.
We've definitely got to get down there for that, but I have not had the opportunity. I have seen my Bucks and Redskins play at RFK and at FedEx Field.
What stadium was better? Just kidding. I know the answer to that one.
I tell you what, it was fun thinking back of old RFK. We sat in the upper deck on the in the end zone, so looking down the field and watching the lower bowl shake when the Redskins fans would jump up and down and so forth. It was very fascinating. It was a neat old stadium, and it held the sound, unlike FedEx Field.
Because it had the semi-dome all the way around it.
It
covered the upper deck only, but it would keep all that sound in that would come up and then just get forced back down.
Yeah.
And that was a cool stadium because George Allen would use the elephant garage doors at each end of the stadium, and when the opposing team was kicking extra points or field goals, he'd open the big elephant doors up and let the wind swirl around the stadium. And then when the Redskins are kicking, he'd close the garage door, and it had character.
That's it. There you go. And great stories.
Yeah, and the people in it were characters.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, hey, we got to get in our interview. Do we have time?
Yeah, we got nothing but time.
As we look at the bottom of the hour. That break coming up fast. We got to talk about Spring Mills this is a tough game at South Hagerstown. South Hagerstown scored a win at Hedgesville earlier this season.
They did, and they're coming off a 44-0 win against South Carroll.
So South Hagerstown feeling good. Meanwhile, Spring Mill's going to have to try to bounce back from that 56-0 loss against Martinsburg. So let's hear from head coach Chad Williams of the Cardinals, what he saw first from his team in last week's game against Martinsburg.
I was proud of them the way that they continued to battle throughout. I didn't really see any quit in them. Even coming out of the locker room in the second half. It would have been nice to see us be able to get something going offensively. We just couldn't get any time to do anything. Couldn't get any kind of blocks to spring a run game or time to throw. Defensively, we played well at times, and then we also blew some assignments and gave up some big plays. And when you're playing a team that explosive, it really only takes one blown assignment to lead to a 50 or 60-yard big play.
Looking at practice so far this week, has your team come out a little bit more motivated, ready to bounce back from that, or did you kind of have to kick them in the butt a little bit?
No, I think, so far this week it's been pretty good. We've got a really good opponent this week in South Hagerstown who's, probably about as good as anybody we're going to see the rest of the way out. So, I think they're definitely, they're motivated. They're ready to roll again this week and get back to business. Looking forward to hopefully another good day today.
As you go through preparation, does it help in any way that you're playing an opponent that has already played another Eastern Panhandle team? I know they had a matchup with Hedgesville earlier in the year. Can you take anything out of that?
Not really. I don't think it makes much of a difference other than, you can kind of see that obviously their game with Hedgesville was a, 50-50 game. I think if those two play 10 times, they probably each win 5 of them just based on how close the game was. So, I think, certainly playing a team like this gives you a little bit better idea where you stack up with future competition. But, and it's always good to see somebody that's played Hedgesville, I guess, just because, we're similar in our styles and you have an idea of kind of, what to expect from one to the next. Even though the Hedgesville film wasn't one we traded with, we have been able to get a little bit of information on that game at least.
Heading into the midpoint of the season or the midpoint couple weeks of the season, how do you assess where your team is at right now?
I honestly don't know. I think, I think these next few weeks are going to tell us a lot about where we are right now. You go back to week 1, we played, I thought, a pretty good first half, and then kind of lost control in the second half. And then, since then, it's kind of been 3 weeks in a row of games that were, decided blowouts fairly early. So, this week I think we're going to see a good 4-quarter football game, which is something that we haven't seen in about a month now.
Is there any concern in that regard, the fact that you haven't been in that situation, making sure that you're not only physically but mentally prepared for that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think so. Again, it's been a month since we played fourth quarter that didn't have a running clock. So, it's going to be different for us, I guess, because, obviously this week we anticipate playing a full ball game.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best in the game. We'll look forward to talking next week.
All right, thank you.
There you hear from Chad Williams. Again.
I wanted to do it again. I'm sorry. I couldn't get enough of it.
Spring Mills head coach as the Cardinals get ready for a matchup against South Hagerstown. And big games for this Cardinals team under a first-year head coach, new offensive, new defensive systems, and so forth. They need every victory they can as they go through the remainder of this season with still some tough games ahead to try to make that playoff push at the end of the year.
And it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. That was not a tough way to lose a game last week, or that was not an easy way to lose a game. So it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back.
All right, bottom of the hour, we got a break, and then we're back with more Miller Time.
It's not a question, but a lesson. I am for the child who's had 7 addresses in a single year because she's in foster care, because her father abused her, and her mother couldn't believe her. That is the child I am for. And because I am, she'll be that much more likely to find a safe, permanent home. I am a volunteer child advocate. I am you.
Lift up a child's voice, a child's life. Get involved through CASA of the Eastern Panhandle today at mycasaep.org.
We're talking with our intern, Savon Hunter. Savon, when did you develop this dislike of water?
I don't know. There are so many things in the ocean.
Icky things, huh?
Yeah, I don't like it.
How about swimming pools?
Swimming pools are fine.
Yeah, but we've learned from experts, swimming pools have icky things in them, too.
I can't see the icky things.
Watch for the solids.
Well, she gets stationed at Lambert Park every now and then.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to take care of an emergency?
That's not my job.
Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and David. What did you listen to last week?
CBS News update. 4 people are dead, including the suspect, in a shooting at a Rite Aid warehouse in Aberdeen, Maryland. 3 other people were wounded but expected to survive. WJZ-TV's Mike Helgren was at the scene.
Witnesses described the chaotic scene. The first calls for help came in at 9:06 a.m. Police responded within 5 minutes.
It's been absolutely crazy. Everything is cut off. All the roads are cut off. I think I counted at least 13 ambulances.
Police evacuated the massive buildings and secured the scene while employees were reunited with their families.
I can't get in touch with her on our phone. I can't get in touch with the warehouse workers, so the next thing to do is just ride out here and come get her.
The suspect is identified as 26-year-old Baltimore resident Snoshia Mosley. She was a temporary worker at the warehouse, and police say she shot herself. It is the 3rd workplace shooting in the U.S. in 24 hours. CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Overnight, we're seeing clouds increasing, temperatures dropping back to the middle 60s by first thing tomorrow morning. It's a cloudy Friday around the Eastern Panhandle with a couple of showers possible in the afternoon. Still warm with a high of 82. The cool front comes through, though, tomorrow night into Saturday. Temperatures drop to a high of 75 Saturday with partial sun. Even cooler upper 60s Sunday. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio, WRNR.
You're at a red light. Sometimes it seems like they never change. You wish you could magically turn that red light green. I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. I can't help you with the street lights, but I can help you if you happen to have red lights at home. Red lights at home are even more frustrating than red lights on the street. No matter what you do or say, she gives you the red light. Is it possible to change that red light to green? I have incredible news. Unlike red lights on the street, you really can turn red lights at home into green. Put our light-changing gift gifts to the test. Stop in at Bechtel Jewelers. In minutes, we'll send you on your way with a little box that has a light-changing surprise for her inside. A beautiful diamond ring, earrings with her favorite gems. We'll help you pick the perfect gift. And when she sees her gift sparkling up at her, well, those red lights at home turn to green. Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood. We'll help you turn red lights into green.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
And away we go. Antonio Brown was back at practice for the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and he was a little bit angry, saying he is annoyed that the team, as he says, sucks. Second consecutive day, Marcus Mariota practiced for the Titans, so that's some good news. Tonight, you got Thursday night football, a little bit after 8 o'clock Eastern, Jets and the Browns in Cleveland. Dalvin Cook, no practice today. Rob Gronkowski was limited. Looks like an ankle issue for him. Cole Beasley for the Dallas Cowboys, also limited session. He's dealing with an ankle issue and officially placed on the injury report. 8 games in total tonight. Some of your headliners: Red Sox at the Yankees, 7:05 Eastern. Boston looking to clinch, 7:05 Eastern. Mets at Nationals. Max Scherzer looking for win number 18. And at 7:30, it's the Phillies and the Braves. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
Once upon a time, there was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch-style house.
Check me out. 3,000 square feet, 2-car garage.
For weeks, it waited.
Come on, people. I've got a pool and an updated kitchen.
For just the right family.
Nobody wants me.
One day, the realtor advertised the lonely ranch with Homes and Land.
Well, that was my idea, by the way.
Homes and Land magazine makes finding the right house easy, with hundreds of property listings, full color photos, and detailed descriptions. And at homesandland.com, all it took was a few clicks for a family to find the perfect updated ranch.
And we all lived happily ever after.
The perfect house is out there. Homes and Land can help you find it. For a free copy of the magazine, call 1-800-277-7800 or visit homesandland.com.
Talk to your realtor today about Homes and Land of the Eastern Panhandle or phone 304-579-8510.
You're doing okay today, but let's take a little trip 5 years into the future. You're faced with funeral expenses for your loved one. You've got paperwork and logistics and scheduling, a lot of hassle. But a little forward thinking now can save you a lot of heartache later. It's easier than you think. We're Brown Funeral Homes, family owned, in business for over 135 years. Think smart, think ahead. Brown Funeral Homes, Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time on this Thursday evening, along with Matt Crawford. I'm Matt Miller.
You done whiting out over there?
I'm done whiting out, yes.
Did you mess up?
I did. I messed up. Working on a couple of quick game notes during the break to be ready for tomorrow. We lose the day tomorrow with all of the travel for the most part. So little elements of prep for the Friday night games that I might normally do on a Friday morning must be done tonight.
Next week will be really fun. When you have to have basically 2 games completely done by Wednesday when we leave.
Thanks for the reminder.
I'm just letting you know that.
I appreciate that.
Back-to-back nights of high school football next week as we go to
Well, it's actually a day of football on Thursday.
Right, it's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
But still, you're gone the entire day.
That's Hedgesville at Preston, part of the Buckwheat Festival, part of the Buckwheat Pancake, if I get that out right.
Canpake?
That's where I was going. I don't know how I crossed those letters.
Canpake.
But I'm anxious to try some.
You've never had one?
Never had
You've been making a big deal about this buckwheat festival. You never even had a buckwheat pancake?
Look, I know about the festival, but I've never been there. It's 2.5 hours away. I've never,
So is that
jumped
an
in the
entire
car.
state of West Virginia thing, or is that regional based?
It's a Preston County thing.
Okay.
The overall festival. So I'm assuming it must be just kind of in their neck of the woods. Hey, did you notice in the bottom of the hour sports report from NBC Sports Radio, baseball, Yankees, Red Sox. Red Sox trying to clinch the division tonight. Didn't get it done last night as the Yankees got the win.
They didn't, but there's a banner already.
Yeah, you saw that or heard about that, right?
I did.
For those that didn't hear about it, 3 friends who happen to be Red Sox fans, of course, they live in Boston, right? They were...
That's Boston.
I'm sorry, I'm not good with the accent.
Boston.
They were heading down the road and noticed something in the middle of the road, stopped, and picked said thing up, and then realized, well, wait a minute, I guess by the wrapping, however it was wrapped, they thought it might be, they said jerseys or something. So they opened it up to see what it was, and it turns out that it was the 2018 Division Championship.
AL East.
Yeah, you are the AL East champions, 2018 Boston Red Sox. What? So that's a fun find. They contacted the Red Sox to make sure that they got it back so that they will be able to unveil it.
I wonder what they got for that.
I don't know.
I guarantee you it's, hey, we're going to give this back to you, not like sell it for an obscene amount of money on eBay. Can we get like some jerseys or some signed balls or a couple of games right behind the plate? Because you don't just, I mean, not that you're going to blackmail your favorite team, but hey, we're giving this back. We could have kept it, but we're going to give it back to you. Can we get something?
But it really doesn't belong to you, so you have to give it back.
That's what they do. When players lose control of their bat,
right,
it's in one piece, you get one of their spare bats.
Mm-hmm.
Because the players want the bat that they're swinging with back, but you get like a backup auxiliary bat.
Yeah, and or, a milestone type of home run.
Mm-hmm.
We often hear of, what's going to go on between that particular person and the player to be able to get that ball back for...
Did you ever hear the story of the guy who caught Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit? That home run, that was his 3,000th hit.
Right. He gave it back, right?
He gave it, and all he wanted to do was meet Derek Jeter.
That was it.
Everything he probably could have gotten for that baseball. I mean, Derek Jeter gets his 3,000th hit, and it's a home run at Yankee Stadium.
Which doesn't happen often as far as a 3,000th hit being a home run.
Yeah.
And then it's Derek Jeter.
All he could have gotten, I mean, he could have got thousands of dollars for that ball if he just held on to it and sold it somewhere. He could have gotten all sorts of signed memorabilia and stuff, and that was a guy who loved the game enough that he goes, I just want to meet. I want to be there when he gets the ball.
Do you appreciate that more than that person that goes, you ain't getting it back, or you're getting it back but at a huge cost?
I would hope that it would make the player meeting that person a little more special. Because you meet I want 3 signed baseballs, a signed team photo. Oh, I don't want to meet the player. Player, okay, well, here. You're being a greed monster now.
Mm-hmm.
No, all I want to do is meet Derek Jeter. You would hope that would at least make Derek... Not that I don't think Derek Jeter's a mean guy or not a nice guy in any way, shape, or form. I never met the guy. But you would think that he would take that into consideration. Okay, all this dude wants to do is meet me. He's willing to give me back one of the most prized possessions I'm ever going to have for my playing career. You would hope that would at least make it a nice visit and...
Right.
Make it worth the guy's while.
Yeah, sit down for a few minutes.
Yeah, talk Yankees.
Yeah.
So, at least you would hope.
As we got it started talking about the Red Sox and the AL East Championship banner, by the way, they said it was in the middle of the road because they believe it fell off of a truck.
I believe that delivery company will no longer be used.
I am thinking the same thing. I don't know who that delivery company was, but I'm sure the Red Sox are probably contacting them.
Probably a Yankees fan driving the truck.
I hadn't thought about it quite that way. All right, let's jump back into some high school football. We've talked about the 4 Berkeley County teams and their matchups coming up tomorrow night in EPAC play, although really no EPAC play. It's all non-conference action. Let's go to the Jefferson Cougars. Still trying to get their first win of the year, and it's been a struggle these last several weeks, especially offensively, not able to get points.
Yeah, and it's not just their first win of this year. It's their first win since 2016. So, that big monkey on the back right now, the Jefferson Cougars, and doesn't get any easier this week.
Let's see. They've played playoff-bound teams in each of their first 4 weeks. They're playing the Kaiser Golden Tornado, who tend to be a very good team in Class AA in the state of West Virginia. And it's on the road, where they've been a lot in the early part of this season. So, yeah, it doesn't get any easier for the Jefferson Cougars. We caught up with head coach Craig Hunter. His thoughts coming off of the tough loss last week against Hedgesville and heading in to this matchup with Kaiser.
I thought we played very well. I told the kids after the game, in every game there's around 4 or 5 moments within the game that changes the whole dynamics of a game. And I told the kids, we stopped them on the opening drive. We got the ball. We had a 9-10-yard run, and we fumbled the ball, gave it right back to them on the 27-yard line. We had a 4th and inches and couldn't get the first down. We had a 4th and 2 and couldn't get the first down. At those points in time, the game was still 7-0, and the game was 14-0. The game was 14-0 all the way to 3 minutes left to go in the half, where they hit 2 big plays on us. So I thought the kids played well, but we just gotta find ways to get over the hump. I think we're right there at the top of the hill. We just got to find a way to get right over the hill to start this thing going in the right direction.
Understand maybe a little short-handed in this one. Have you been battling through some early injuries and things?
One of our kids got kicked out of the Musselman game for claiming he threw a punch, which he really didn't throw. And then we had some other issues with some kids who found other things that they were more committed to than football. And they missed the game on that Thursday because they didn't think the game was going to be on Thursday.
How is this team kind of, coming together and bonding through a tough start to the year?
They're staying together. They got positive attitudes. They understand that, and they see in the games, and they watch the film, and they see that those moments in the game that I talked about in the Edgehill game made a big difference in the game. We get those 2 first downs. We're inside their 10-yard line. We get those 2 first downs. Those change the momentum of the game and everything you do. And we don't fumble that ball on the first drive. It changes it. Once again, it changes the moment of the game. You don't know how that drive is going to end because we did move the ball pretty well.
You used the term earlier, trying to get over that hump. Have you seen so far this year, is it the same couple of issues that seem to reoccur every game, or is it new things that seem to pop up every week?
It's just certain things that come about in the games. Not really understanding the situation in the game, not knowing, understanding that it's 4th and inches, that we need a push. 4th and 2, we need a big push. Just those situations and those things that we have to understand as a team and know the situation in the game and how things are going. And I think that's just the youth of some of the kids on the team that have played, but haven't necessarily played at the varsity level and how things are going. So, I think we're getting there. Hopefully this week we can get there.
Yeah, it sounds like that challenge of, kind of having to learn on the job, which is never an easy thing. What is it that you see in the Kaiser Golden Tornado?
Kaiser's Kaiser. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball. Wing T, a lot of misdirection we haven't seen. We've seen misdirection out of Millbrook. We've seen misdirection out of Musselman. So it's just mainly we just got to stay home, read our keys, and then go from there. I don't think they're as big as they've been in the past. They're still a decent-sized team. So we just got to stay focused, be ready to go, and be ready to play and handle their running game.
Looking at the schedule, this is going to be the 4th time that you're on the road so far this season. Do you like the fact that your second half of the season will be a lot of home games?
Yeah, because being on the road isn't fun. So, getting to play at home, sometimes in certain things, like I said, those 4th and inches, having the crowd behind you, getting you pumped up. The kids are pumped up more at home, having a home crowd behind them than when they're away. And, sometimes depending on where you go, like we'll go to Kaiser, we don't know how big of a crowd following we're going to have at Kaiser. So, being 2 hours away. So being home and playing in front of your home crowd, gets you a little bit more pumped up.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the best in this one, and we'll talk again next week.
All right, thank you.
There you hear from Craig Hunter, head coach of the Jefferson Cougars, looking to get their first win of the season as they travel to Kaiser. Going to be a tough matchup against the Golden Tornado. Last year,
46-14, the slightly yellowish Air Pockets.
Yeah, when you heard me yesterday as
Golden Tornadoes.
Yeah, you were in on that interview, and I mentioned that name, and you just looked at me like, what in the world?
Not quite as good as the polka dots, but
close.
Close.
All right, let's get in one more break, then come back and take a look at the Washington Patriots as they, too, are still looking for their first win on the year. They're at Clark County, Virginia. We hear from Glenn Simpson next on Miller Time. Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com.
A DUI arrest can have a devastating impact on one's life, your job, your driver's license, and in some cases, your very freedom. My name is Harley Wagner. I own and operate West Virginia's only exclusive DUI defense firm. Since 1999, I've been representing citizens throughout the Eastern Panhandle and state of West Virginia charged with DUI. Let my years of training and experience work for you.
The initial consultation is free at the Wagner Law Firm in Martinsburg. Phone 304-901-7400 or online at westvirginiaduilawyers.com.
Coach Bill has his say. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report.
When you order your groceries online at Kroger.com or with the Kroger app, you can do your shopping anytime, anywhere, like the gym, the office, or your favorite comfy couch. Plus, when you visit Kroger.com, you can find hundreds of money-saving digital coupons. And whether you place your order on your phone, tablet, or computer, it's still your neighborhood Kroger. So you'll find all the fresh choices, low prices, and great deals you love. And once you've selected your coupons and finished your shopping, you choose a pickup time that fits your schedule. And relax while your order is hand-picked, just the way you like it. Then all you have to do is hop in the car and drive to the store's pickup location. And a friendly Kroger associate will load your specially picked order for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's so convenient. Save time. Shop online today at Kroger.com.
As a young kid, Dana Holgerson said he used to sit at the very, very high levels of the stadium at the University of Iowa watching the Hawkeyes play football. And the offensive coordinator back in those days was none other than Bill Snyder, the gentleman that he'll oppose on Saturday as the Wildcats of Kansas State come to town. Without question, Snyder, one of the most respected coaches in the business. But his team will come into Saturday's game in a rare role as a significant underdog to the Mountaineers. Earlier this week, Snyder was asked about that situation, one that he and his team aren't used to.
Well, it's how we got there that's what concerns me. You know, West Virginia is a very fine football team and deserves, rankings, et cetera, but, we're an immense underdog because we have not played as well as we're capable of playing. So that's what that tells me. And that's what my concern is, that we have to play better and make the kind of improvement that we're capable of making. And to this point in time, we've made some strides, but we're certainly not there yet.
As you can hear there, Snyder has respect for the WVU program and specifically Mountaineer quarterback Will Greer.
Throws all types of balls well. He's the guy that you see him run around quite a bit back there. I mean, he did against us last year and got a touchdown that made the difference in the ball game at the end of the day. You've seen it happen again. He's an excellent scrambler, I guess is what I'm saying. And he has the athletic ability to really make people miss. You look at we have a cut up of all the scrambles that he's made, and it's amazing how he's been able to avoid tackles from some very fine athletes. He'd be a great dodgeball player.
Kansas State coach Bill Snyder. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
We'll round out our look at high school football next on Miller Time.
Simply free e-checking from City National Bank. Perfect if you want basic checking with no monthly service fees or balance requirements. Stop by any of our 7 Eastern Panhandle locations or visit us online at bankatcity.com. City National Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, honey.
Where are you?
I've been in line at the post office for the last 30 minutes.
Why are you at the post office? It'll take you all day.
Where else do I go to ship my packages or drop FedEx off at?
Honey, going postal is way faster, has less lines, and friendly service.
Where's going postal?
It's right in the Common Shopping Center in Martinsburg. They'll ship your packages quickly, and you can avoid the lines.
Going postal should be your first choice for all your shipping needs. Going postal, the Commons, Martinsburg.
Brian,
From what I've heard, you're using your paper not for writing, but for rolling doobies. You're going to be doing a lot of doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river.
We welcome you back, no matter where you may be listening, whether in a van down by the river or at home or work or on the drive, wherever it may be.
Josh Gordon had his first practice with the Patriots staff. Figured that was fitting. He's been rolling a lot of doobies throughout his NFL career.
Did he actually participate today?
Yes.
All right.
Apparently he's wearing number 10 because number 12 is already taken. It's not like he's that scary good of a player that, he can't wear number 12. Cool.
So we'll see how he
got
does.
released from Cleveland.
Is he going to play?
That's all I'm saying.
He playing Sunday, you think?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
New England is one of those teams, right?
They can they turn anybody around.
I was going to say, they've brought in all kinds of players that didn't do well for whatever reason in other places and somehow have fit into the system. Now, they've had a few that haven't, and this may be one of those cases, too. You just hope this young man gets his life together.
Yeah.
You know,
he had a promising NFL career.
Absolutely.
And just couldn't lay off the weed.
So hopefully it's a good move for him. I'm not so keen on it being a good move for the Patriots just because I'm not a Belichick or Patriot fan. So sorry to all of those out there who are.
But you are a Glenn Simpson fan.
Speaking of Patriots.
Washington Patriots.
The Washington Patriots.
They haven't had quite nearly the success that the New England Patriots have.
No, it's been a struggle, a rebuilding of the program, if you will. Won 3 out of their last 4 a season ago to finish 3-7. Snapped a lengthy, 25-game losing streak or so when they got that first win. And it looked like they had some things going in the positive direction. But they had a bunch of seniors last year, whole bunch of seniors. And so as a result, this year has been a challenge with a young football team. So this coming weekend, they are going to be taking on the Clark County Eagles. That's not an easy game, and we'll find out why from head coach Glenn Simpson as we hear from him. But first, we started by asking what he saw from his team in that tough loss that they had this past weekend.
I hate to say it's like every week. They fought hard against a superior opponent. That Heritage team is really talented, and they physically manned up on us out there, and they were difficult to deal with. Now we did make some mistakes and found interesting ways to give up points. Offense, defense, special teams, but the effort out of these young men was tremendous. There will come a time when we're not the youngest and smallest team on the field. That's for sure.
You mentioned some mistakes were made. When you look at this season so far, has it been the same couple of mistakes that are made game after game, or is it something new that seems to pop up every week?
It's the mistake of the week. We get the onside or the kickoff situation against Millbrook, and then last week we had a fumble return for a touchdown. We gave punt returns for touchdown when we've typically been pretty solid on our coverage. So these are not indicative of the way our kids normally play.
When you look at Clark County, what is the challenge that these Eagles present?
Well, they run an offense that has been around forever. However, nobody runs it very much anymore, and so their scheme is very unique, and it's hard to, during our scout preparation, to get our scout team ready to show our defense a good look. Because, like I said, it is so unique. I think they do a wonderful job with it, and they've been very successful through the years with it. And that alone, just the scheme itself, makes it a challenge.
How about what they do defensively? Are you seeing some things that hopefully you can get your offense going?
Well, I think so. I think schematically, I think we match up well with their defense. We'll have to see. We don't get to play the game on paper. Our young men, they're working hard right now, as a matter of fact, and we have installed the game plan, and we're repping it out, and we'll see how it turns out on Friday.
Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you very much.
There you hear from Glenn Simpson as the Washington Patriots, coming off the loss last weekend against Heritage, will be back in action at Clark County this coming Friday night. Again, we'll have scoring updates from all of those games tomorrow, as Matt Crawford will be in studio with our halftime scoreboard show and the post-game extra point scoreboard show. So we'll see how those games play out, and we'll have the Martinsburg Bulldogs visiting Academy Park just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Miller time 5, pregame 6, kickoff at 7. There you go. We've previewed each of the EPAC matchups.
We got it done.
We did it.
A little bit easier 2 hours.
Definitely.
I don't know how we got through them all in that one-hour show.
That means next week we're going to have to do this on Wednesday.
Yep.
In some way, because I don't know how Miller time might occur on Thursday, as we'll be coming home from the Hedgesville-Preston game. So
I don't think there will be a Miller time on
I would imagine not, unless we can find a way to do it on the road.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that would work.
I'm not sure either. But
don't plan on a Miller time next Thursday.
So the previews will be next Wednesday, and then next Friday we'll have the results of that Hedgesville-Preston game from the Buckwheat Festival. All right, speaking of pancakes, they're a breakfast food. Did you take part in the Rob and Dave survey from this morning's Eastern Panhandle Talk?
I did not. I haven't been on Facebook yet today.
You got to go to Facebook. They want to know your favorite breakfast cereal.
Depends what kind of mood I'm in, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge breakfast guy.
Okay.
My favorite, I think, is probably Cocoa Puffs. If I had to pick one cereal that I'm going, man, I really want a bowl of cereal, I think I'd go with Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, I'm not a big Cocoa Puff guy.
Really?
Nah.
See, I didn't get them a whole lot as a kid because it was sugary cereal that my parents didn't want me eating, nothing but sugar. So when I got Cocoa Puffs, I'm eating.
I want to know whoever ate those cereals. How do these cereal companies stay in business with the sugary cereals? Because 9 out of 10 people will tell you, yeah, my parents would never buy those. Then who was buying them? Because my parents didn't either.
There's always the grandparents.
I do like Captain Crunch, especially
Crunch
with
Berry.
Crunch. Oh,
I was going to say, are you a Crunch Berry guy?
Gotta have Crunch Berries. All right, that does it for today's Miller Time on Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg.
Now your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. On Tuesday, Governor Jim Justice appointed John Myers to be the director of the West Virginia Lottery. Myers has been serving as Secretary of Administration for the Justice.
He is the most interesting jeweler in the world. Celebrities ask for his autograph. When buying diamonds, experts ask him what they're worth. He once counted to infinity twice. He has his own astrological sign.
I may not sell every customer that comes into Bechtel Jewelers, but on the rare occasion